This video app review is brought to you by the iPhoneAppReview.com.
What's up, everybody? This is Luke Patrick with the iPhoneAppReview.com. Today we're slinging out yet another video review, this time taking a look at an application called MEG RVO. This is the HD version, which means it's on the iPad. And without any further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and kind of jump straight into the app and then show you how it works. Actually, you know what? Let's do this. Let's flick it out of existence really quick so we can start afresh, just so you can see the full experience. And we'll jump in. So once you've booted this up, you've got a login. Let me tilt that up just a second so you can see it. Which you can create an account for. This tracks your statistics, allows you to set up your rigs, blah, blah, blah. But I'm going to do it as a guest, just to be safe and sound. Essentially, I'm trying to think of a comparable game to describe this, but essentially it's a lot like something like StarCraft, except not, and it bears a lot of similarities to other things like top-down first-person shooters. But the best way that I could describe it is that it's simply a rig game in the same way that you might have remembered some of the old Mech Warrior games, for instance, like maybe the ones on Game Boy or Game Boy Advance, that sort of thing. It's been a while since I played a Mech Warrior, so give me a break. Anyway, the game is still in beta. It is not finished, which bears a lot on what we get to say about it, what we think about it. But just keep in mind as we go through this, obviously the game is not yet done. It's still in beta, but it's being put together by a really brilliant team of young developers, and it shows a lot of promise. So, with that in mind, let's go ahead and jump straight in. So, obviously, this is how this functions. You drag this around. This is your motion. You've also got the firing over here. You can't swap weapons, simply tapping, too. That is function. Let's go ahead and jump straight into it. If you'd like, you have a different HUD here that you can use to lay down things like mines, turrets, etc. So again, a lot of StarCrafty sort of materials here, but at the same time, also very different and a lot more like a Mech Warrior game. You've got shield you can use, which is quite nice. I just turned it off. Or no, it's still on, sorry. And it will recharge, that sort of thing. Bombs, rockets, etc. All of that's there. So, the intent, kind of like StarCraft, I keep wanting to say Star Trek, StarCraft or, say, Mech Warrior is basically to hunt down your enemies and destroy them, though objectives can change and will change. Like those other titles, there's also a lot of different variable unit types, though typically we tend to just see these hostiles that do attach directly onto your rig, causing problems and headaches and problems galore. You can shake them off by doing that. Of course, each and every one of these guys has a specific description that you can find within the core of the game. The developers are happy to share that sort of thing. They just came out with a new update. They released a subterranean hostile. Nice Buffy reference, if I say so myself. So you can research that if you want. It's actually pretty deep, and we appreciate the fact that each and every new enemy has been very cleverly thought out to add a certain amount of panache to the scenario, so to speak. In other words, it's well thought out and it's very well designed, which is something that we really enjoy and we like to see in a game like this, because it's the richness of the units and the unit types as well as the campaigns that really makes it. Same with multiplayer, all of that. Let's go ahead and kill these guys. So, they're going to keep spawning, and that's going to be bad. If I die, I apologize. You'll see what that is like. Yeah. Alright, so that's the basic controls. A few complaints. Controls are a little bit stiff. You feel like you're driving a tank. At least it could just be the basic model that I'm using here. But in general, they're not terribly precise, which can be a pain. I'm assuming especially if you're in a scenario where you really need to be able to control and have just precise control to the umpteenth degree, that would be very problematic. Excuse me, aside from that, honestly, the game's really well designed. The graphics are phenomenal. They did recommend that we play this on a Retina-enabled iPad. I have not tried it on one that is not Retina. I have iPad 4 or later, etc. So I can't guarantee performance on that, but on this one it jams along great, and it is extremely quick, so no complaints there from us. Additionally, different randomized maps is fun. The HQ, which we're going to go back to now, you do have to pay, I think it's like $3 or $4 to use the full dashboard. Again, it's a free game. It's in development, so you're supporting development. If you like what you see, that doesn't, it factors in, but it's also you are helping, so that's quite nice. Of course, you get to upgrade your rig using various different parts and bits, which you have to have a logged in account for, so excuse me for that. There's also schematics that explain everything if you would like to see how that works. And new as the game is developed, you also have stats for competitive play. So, with all of that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and then wrap this up. The game shows a lot of promise, and I genuinely wish it well. I wish it the best of luck, because I do think they have a lot of potential here. They're obviously thinking very hard about each new unit and about the contents within the game. They're also going up against a lot of stiff competition from other game developers, people like Gameloft. But that doesn't necessarily matter as much, because the richness and depth of a handcrafted item like this can be infinitely more entertaining than something that's already large and pushed out by one of these huge houses. But at the same time, you have to spend your money somewhere. So keeping all of that in mind, I do think it's a great game. I think that they will be able to iron it out and then add more and more content. Of course, it's not yet finished. That's also kind of a problem. But as soon as it is finished, I think there's a lot of potential here, and I think it's easily one of the best recommendations that I can push to you if you're into this sort of game on the iPad. And currently the free price tag is, of course, quite a boom. So with all of that in mind, I am going to give it a 4 out of 5-star rating from us here at the iPhoneAppReview.com, and that is all I have to say about it. To this point, I'm going to go ahead and sign out, but we will see you guys later. And of course, check back frequently to see what the devs have done with this, and if at any point you feel like it's worth jumping on the bandwagon for, go ahead and do it. We definitely would not say that's a bad idea. Alright, that's it for me. We're going to go ahead and sign out. Bye, guys.